How you guys doing? We're here at Pierce College. Today we're going to talk about how we incorporate the half kneeling positions into our routines for our athletes and the rationale why we do it. So a half kneeling position is this. It's simply one knee down. If I'm doing a lift, which is low to high, my inside knee will be down, my outside leg will be up. And we position our athletes where they're pretty much square. This leg is in line with this shoulder, this leg is in line with this shoulder. Now to increase the demands of stability, you might bring this leg in a little bit, but for the most part, our legs are parallel, they're in line with our shoulders. So what we also emphasize is this: we try to extend the hips, right? We don't want any anterior pelvic tilt or any flexion of the hip. We want to extend the hips, we want to be tall. So if we're tall, we extend the hips, there's naturally going to be some glute activation and core activation. And that's what we really use this for, is to teach our kids kind of pelvic control, core control, right? Using firing of the glutes to be stable in these type of positions while we're moving weight at different angles, these P&F patterns. So if we're going to do a lift again in a half kneeling position, we're going low to high, and we'll do it two different ways. We'll do it one where the shoulders and the pelvis stay fixed. So we're here, we're upright. And one thing we're also looking for is we want to have nice, relaxed, natural breathing. We don't want to be tense in our neck and our shoulders. We want really all that control to come through our pelvis, our core, our hips, our glutes. The next progression we would do, once the athletes really understand how to control that kind of two movement pattern, pull in, push away, shoulders and hips are aligned, then we'll go to a fixed pelvis, but now the shoulders will move slightly. Pelvis is fixed, shoulders will move. So that's our next progression. But we use both for most of our teams within the first phase of a workout. And again, the rationale is hip control, core control, and getting us away from always doing planking, bridging exercises on the floor, on our forearms, side plank, side bridges. Right? We're trying to progress this to more upright postures with our athletes. So eventually we're doing mostly ground-based movements. Even our core movements are mostly ground-based. So that's really our rationale behind the half kneeling lift. I don't see a lot of strength coaches necessarily incorporating it, more so like in the PT world and the rehab world. But we found a lot of success just teaching hip and core control by, again, extending the hips, being tall, not moving our arms through these P&F diagonal patterns. It seems to work pretty well for us when we move on to our next phase, that they have this, again, this ability to control their core and their hips, which is huge. If you're going to produce power, that's where it's going to come from. It's going to come from that hip region.